Nation of Fit and 10, welcome to day 58. And being that it's day 58, we are out of the teens and soon to be in the single digits in terms of days left. Your final scan is going to happen December 10th and 11th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. So I will put up the Calendly link for that in the next, probably 5 or 6 days from now. Things are wrapping up, but we still have 12 days and a lot can happen. And if you run your scan, let's say on a Sunday, technically you got 14 days still. So every day counts. Remember where you are today, all the progress that you made was an accumulation of all the days, right? Leading up to where you're at. So every day counts, every day you're progressing. I think for some of you, even, we could work it out. So we were averaging out the amount of ounces of fat that were lost daily. So think of it that way. You're losing a little bit every single day, even if the scale doesn't show that, okay? Your weight scale. All right, question here. This person writes, I typically cram all my workouts within 3 to 4 days, and then I take the rest of the week off. Someone told me that by doing this, I'm not gonna get the same kind of results in terms of fat loss. Is there any truth to this? Am I losing out on results? Okay, so really the only difference here is you're not going to have as productive of workouts if you're cramming them all together. So by your day 3 or day 4, or I should say day 3 and day 4, you're going to be more tired. You're not going to be able to put in the same kind of effort, especially if you're working out the same body parts that you just recently worked out. So this is going to impede the productivity, the effectiveness of the workouts, and this is what will potentially hinder your progress in the challenge. So my suggestion, try to, obviously, you know what I'm gonna say here, try to spread them out as much as you can. All right, so just think about that. Okay, all right, next question. Mark, could you please tell us again what is in your special concoction that you make every morning? I know you mentioned it a few times, but I can't remember what you put in it. Okay, so basically this is how it goes. I do a liter of water. I do a level teaspoon of salt. I used to do more salt than this, but don't do this because it can cause some disruption to your bowels. Okay, so I do a level teaspoon of salt. Again, I do 1 liter of water. I do 1 scoop of the electrolytes, the ATP. What is it called? It's just the ATP. It's the electrolyte blend from ATP Labs. I do about 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, and I do 1 full lime or lemon. They're very, very similar. Okay, 1 full lime or lemon, and that's what I do. Obviously, the salt is for hydration. The electrolytes are for hydration. The water's for hydration. The apple cider vinegar has got a whole host of, well, I wouldn't really say any of them are particularly proven, but I do it for digestive purposes. I do it for lowering fasted glucose levels, insulin levels. I do it for there are a lot of antioxidants in it, so I use it for the antioxidants, etc. There's other things too. It's supposed to lower triglycerides, although I don't really know if your blood triglyceride measurements really matter in terms of your health. And the lime I use for partly for hydration and then also for liver cleansing, okay, or the removing fatty deposits from the liver, should there be any. So that's basically everything that I put in there. Okay, and I drink this. If you can drink this over, if you choose to do something like this, try to drink it over half an hour to an hour. I typically, I'm teaching early in the morning, so I pretty much guzzle that down in about 15 minutes. So, okay, all right. I'm gonna keep this one short today. Message of the day. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. So what does this mean? Simply means that as we move out of this challenge, I want to remind you to be reasonable and consistent with your caloric intake, even when you're trying to lose body fat. Try to be reasonable and consistent. Never make major reductions in calories. If you do, you can do that. You can do it for a short time, but remember that you're going to have to come out of this. Okay, so an example of this would be myself. I did this when I was doing competitions, and I would do a short period of time where I'm doing lower calories. But even then, when I went into it, I still did these very what's the word I'm looking for? I would do very gradual decreases in my calories. And still, like my last show I did, which I was probably my best condition ever, my calories only went down to 2,500. And remember this, it's always a relative thing, right? When it comes to calories. So I realize I'm going down a rabbit hole here, and I'll talk about this more in the future, but it's a relative thing. I could have 2,500 calories because I was having that 3,300 calories in my off season. So if you get your body used to doing a lot lower calories, right? If you get your body used to being more energy efficient, where are you going to go when you need to lose more body fat, right? You have to go extremely low calories, and this is a problem. So if just coming back to the other day when I talked about yo-yo dieting, going through periods where you're doing very, very low calories, this is going to be a problem. So the only way out of this is to do higher calories for a longer period of time, right? But anyways, coming back to my message, well, it still falls within my message here, right? The idea here is to always give yourself as much food as you can while still, in this case, depending on what your goals are, but assuming that we're trying to lose here, give yourself as much calories as you can while still steadily losing, right? That's the idea. That's the idea here, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.